Welcome to Art Club with Amber. Let's make a woven ornament. You can choose one color, which is like this red one, or two colors that alternate like this one with the hunter green and maroon, or you can even do two colors that are split like this one with a light blue and a navy. You can also choose up to three colors. Today we're going to do one with three colors of dark green, lime green, and red. Let's gather up some supplies. You'll need a 3-inch wooden ring, some macrame cording. I chose three colors and this is a 3mm thickness. Also grab some twine or jute, some scissors, a comb. You can get this anywhere, if it's a plastic one will do. You'll need about 8 feet of the cording. Then you get a plastic needle and then some jingle bells if you like, and a wooden bead. I found a lot of really cool ones online. So let's get started. So you're going to grab your 3 cords. I like to put mine in a pattern, and I'm going to keep this pattern throughout the whole time I'm weaving. So basically put out about 3 inches, maybe 4 inches, and you're going to wrap that around your wooden ring just to hold it in place for now. You can also wrap a knot there just to hold it in place if you like. So take your 3 strings and make them flat so they keep that same pattern. You're going to go around your fingers and to the back, behind that wooden ring, and through it, and through that little loop you just made. So you're basically just making a knot, but keep those 3 flat as they go back through there. So now you're going to start pulling all that excess string through that hole. And this is the part that can get a little frustrating at first, but just stay patient. It's going to look really cool when you're done. So as you're pulling this, make sure you keep your pattern, and also you're going to pull away from your body and keep your thumb there to keep it kind of in place. So your left hand is holding everything together, and as you go around it, you're going to continue to use your thumb to keep it in place. Now again, wrap around your 2 fingers. You're going to use your ring finger to help push that through, and your pinky through that wooden ring, and then back around into the loop you just made. So you just keep repeating this process over and over again until you've wrapped the entire ring. So as you're pulling through, you're just basically positioning those knots every time, keeping it flat, using your left hand to position it, and again flattening those cords, wrapping around your fingers. You're going to use your ring finger to push it through, and then back and through that loop you just made. I'll use my thumb to help push that through and pull all those extra strings back through that loop. And as I'm pulling it, I'm just making sure everything stays straight. So position those patterns, pull it away from your body, and make sure it's going straight back, and that's going to create this nice flat pattern. So you'll see that as you keep going, you're going to wrap this whole design all the way around, and it's going to keep weaving and making knots. So again, we just flatten it, wrap it around the back, toward your body, around that wooden ring and through the loop you made, and you keep repeating to make lots of knots and fill the whole wooden ring with these cool macrame knots. As you keep going, I want to give you a couple little tips. If you start wrapping it too tight, where there's no gap between the cord and your fingers, it's going to be really difficult to make that knot. So instead, give yourself some slack. Open that up a little bit. You're going to use your fingers to hold it together while you're pulling that cording through, and now you've got a bigger hole to pull all those cords through that loop there, and now it's a little bit easier to get it to be flat and stay flat for you. And so again, I'm just holding it with my thumb, keeping it in place, and I just kept repeating that same thing, but making sure you gave yourself enough space to make that knot. So here we go again, we're almost ready to be done, making a little loop, keeping some gaps there just so that we have space to push that cording through, and then we'll be almost done with it. see how the back looks. You'll have some gaps back there, but we're also keeping the pattern so that the back of it looks really nice too. Now we're basically done. I am pushing this together a little bit just to give myself one more loop around it, so I don't want there to be many gaps between all my knots. And so my last little knot is going through here, and now it's basically ready to go. So here we are. We've got the whole thing. It looks like a fun little wreath, which is awesome. And I'm going to shift some things around, really clean it up a little bit, maybe pull on some cords if I need to make it look nice and even. But now we're ready to make our tassel. So we're going to cut off the excess and just trim that nicely like you're cutting hair, basically. And then you're going to take that leftover and you're going to measure it out to see it's about the same. And I made a pattern where I had my lime green, red, green, green, red, lime green. So that way it kind of has a cool pattern around as you're just wrapping it. All you're going to take is that cord, wrap it around the inside, and it's just, that's all it is. That's how you make your tassel. Tassel's ready. So we're going to take our cording, our jute twine, and we're going to start making knots. So you're basically just wrapping this, do a half knot, and then you're going to take that cord, that jute, and then you're going to make it wrap around the back side by just doing a little crisscross. So wrap it several times, but every time you're doing a crisscross in the back. So crisscross that around, back around to the front, and then do another half knot, so that way it stays nice and tight and keeps your tassel in place. Now you keep repeating that. If you have plenty of jute to do that, you can keep wrapping to the thickness that you like. So crisscross in the back, come back around to the front, do a half knot, and when you're finished with that and you think it's thick enough or enough of that, you're going to do a double knot to make sure it doesn't come undone. Now you can take your jingle bells and start stringing those onto your jute. I do this a number of different ways, but this time I'm just basically doing another double knot here. So make sure that you don't just do a half knot, you do another knot there to really keep that in place. Trim this down a little bit and go grab the comb, and you're going to start brushing it out. You basically start at the ends so that you can really get it nice and clean and then work your way up. And when you've done that, then you can trim it one more time so you don't have little fuzzies at the end. Now it looks nice and clean and neat, and you've got yourself a tassel on the end of your ornament. Trim up your extra jute, and now we're going to make the string at the top that goes around in order to hang it onto the tree. So this is also where we'll put that wooden bead. So I'll do about maybe 14 inches, wrap that around that center portion. An optional idea is what I'm going to be doing here. I'm finding the center, and then I'm using the needle to thread that jute through it so that it's not wrapping on top of my woven knots. I prefer doing it this way. It's definitely an optional thing you can do, but you'll see that I've folded it in half, and you can either wrap around the top or go around it this way toward the back, put those ends through the little loop you made, and now you pull that tight, and that also keeps it from twisting or shifting around the actual ornament. It stays in one place. Now we can take our wooden beads and string it on there, but sometimes this jute gets a little frayed, so if you need to, grab a piece of tape, wrap the tips of that jute to make it basically nice and solid, and that becomes like a little needle. You can take that through your bead or multiple beads. I like to keep mine in place. This is obviously another optional, just a preference I have, where I make a knot there, and I just kind of squish it down to make sure that my bead stays where I want it. And then once I've got it in place, then I can do another knot at the top just to keep it from opening up and securing that. When I'm all finished, I just cut off the end, and now my ornament is all done. It definitely makes a little bit of a mess, so be ready with your lint roller to roll your area, but isn't that just so cute? I just love these ornaments so much, and every one of them are so unique. I love these ones with the 3 colors. So I hope you make your own, and I can't wait to see what it looks like on your tree. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Art Club with Amber. We hope to create with you soon at one of our Art Club with Amber events.